Good morning. So many new faces. You people did not attend the last class, is it? This is the first class of current affairs. Okay, okay. So have you guys been reading current affairs anytime? Anybody has an idea of how to read current affairs? Nobody. Okay, okay. We'll be discussing. I just want to know how many of you have completed graduation, preparing on a full-time basis, so that I get to know the time available. Also, majority of you are preparing on a full-time basis. Huh? Somebody, obviously, working people. There can be working people today, na? Working. Full time. Okay. So basically, once you start getting into the preparation of civil services, current affairs is something that comes automatically to limelight because it is something that is changing very quickly. Okay, because it is changing very quickly, so it looks very dangerous. Initially, at least, it looks very dangerous because today you are reading India is having good relations with Russia. In tomorrow's newspaper, you will find another article which is criticizing India-Russia relationship. It has already come up in few of the papers. So we often get confused why good relationship, why poor relationship, and or this is related to IR. It can be related to science and technology also. It can be related to artificial intelligence. Something abruptly they will come up with stating key, let's say in any of the projects they have started using AI. Okay, now we do not know what is AI, but the article has come up. So how to read current affairs, how to associate what you are reading in starting, and how to link it with current affairs. Okay, so few changes that you need to do while you are reading current affairs. The first change that you need to do is whenever you are reading static portion, be it any subject, be it geography, history, economics, any subject. Okay, after every day's class notes, you leave some 2-3 pages. You don't have no chess. Oh, no chess. Okay, so after every class, you leave some 2-3 pages there. Okay. So whenever you are reading something over a period of time, this will not happen initially. After 2-3 months, when you have a little grip over what is economics, what is geography, what is polity, and all that. Once you have little grip of this, then you will be able to take down notes. You will be able to filter out things. Okay. So first of all, answering the first question, which usually we have, is how do we read current affairs? Okay. So how do you read current affairs is, as of now, you just try to read the editorial. Okay, there are immense benefits of reading newspaper. First of all, it will tell you how to write answers. Okay, so you will start developing answer writing capability with reading editorials. Initially, you don't have to write answers. Initially, you just have to read editorials because it will help you grasp things. Okay, it will help you how do we connect the ideas. Okay, it will help you how to present your answer in paragraph and in points. Okay, so basically it will tell you how to write answers apart from the basic knowledge that they are giving. See? Editorial is also important because rest of the news might not continue. If something is being discussed in editorial, that means it has a potential of unfolding for a period of time. For example, let's say Chandrayaan 3. Okay, let's say Chandrayaan 3 has come up in paper. Chandrayaan 3 mein some unfoldings are about to happen. Okay, it can be international, something related to IR, something related to science and technology. Let's say whatever image we are getting, whatever materials we are getting, that those materials will help us to read geography better. So some things will continue after that. Only in that case it is appearing in editorial. Okay? So if an article is appearing in editorial, it is to continue over a period of time. That also shows the importance of that article. Okay? So you can read any paper. It can be Hindu, Indian Express. Most commonly, I'm telling these two only because they are mostly UPSC oriented. Okay, Times of India, Telegraph are also other newspapers, but they are not UPSC oriented. Okay, they will not be discussing too much of government policies. It is mostly discussed by these two, so you can stick to any one of these papers. Okay, but stick to only these papers and whatever current affairs the institute is providing you, because I told you to read only editorial. What about the rest of the current affairs? Rest of the current affairs from 1st to 6th page or after op-ed page. Okay. So for all that, we are giving you current affairs analysis, current affairs analysis or editorial analysis or PIB analysis. What is PIB? Press Information Bureau. What is Press Information Bureau? Correct. Press Information Bureau is the official gazette notification of Government of India. So any action which is being undertaken by Government of India will come to the gazette notification only through PIB. If it is entering into PIB, matlab it is being announced into public that this step has been taken. Okay? So PIB is a government's messenger to public. That's why it is the most trusted website. Either PIB or PRS. PRS is related to legislative procedures. You don't have to refer PRS because in the materials we are providing or the classes we will be discussing, we will be telling you about the bills itself. Okay, the provisions of the bill we will be discussing. But let's say today we have one bill to discuss, that's Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay, it's a major amendment which is being made in legislature. So we will be reading about the provisions of the bill. Okay, but the session has ended now. When the next session sits, okay, what will happen to the bill before the next elections? We have the upcoming general elections next year itself. So before next general elections, this bill should be completely passed. Okay, if it does not pass, it might lapse. So what is the status of this bill after 2 to 3 months? What is the status of the bill? That you can check. You just type name of that bill space PRS, and in PRS they will tell you, they have bars like this in PRS. In PRS they have bars like this: passed by Lok Sabha, passed by Rajya Sabha, passed by, approved by President. So it is in which stage that you can directly come to know from that PRS website itself. Okay? So PRS website is another very trusted site, but provisions of the bill you don't go from there because it is too technical. It is a completely legal language. We don't have to, that is not required for civil services. Okay? So PIB is one site that you can refer for verification of any information. For example, we discuss something, you want to verify the fact. Okay? So you can refer either PIB. The second one that you can refer is PRS. Okay, usually to check the stage of the bill. Okay, and the third that you can refer is either Vikaspedia or Earthpedia, just to verify the facts if you want to. Don't read it from these pages. Either Vikaspedia or Earthpedia. These are all government sites. Okay, so you can refer them. Okay, but reading current affairs, you refer to only editorial, and the current affairs part summary, all of that we are providing from the institute. The institute is also referring these sites only. Institute is also referring PIB, it is also referring PRS, Earthpedia and Vikaspedia, and then giving you those documents related to either editorial analysis or current affairs analysis and all other such documents. Okay? So you can refer from there. This is true only until you do not have base. Once you are done with basic subjects of geography, polity, economics and all that, now your base is ready. If your base is ready, you will automatically be able to filter out things. What is required, this is not required, this is required, this is not required. Urbanization article has come, it is required. Infrastructure development article has come, it is required. Okay? So this is true. This process you need to follow. Matlab you need to read editorial and op-ed page, okay, of Hindu. It is usually lead article 2 and editorial. Lead article 1 and 2 editorial, and this op-ed. Only these 2 pages you need to read. Okay? And current affairs analysis provided by institute only for initial 3 months. Within 3 months, we are expecting that you will be able to get your base ready, foundations ready. Okay? Once your foundation is ready, then we can start filtering out things. This is required, not required. I have already read this. I have the information of this. You will automatically be able to filter out things related to making notes also. You have all of these things in your notes, so I'll add just one pointer in my notes. Okay? And try to append that static and current affairs knowledge simultaneously. It will have immense benefit in writing answers again. Okay? Whenever you are writing, let's say, women related issues of Indian society, and you have written some pointers related to, let's say, female LFPR. Okay, what is LFPR? We will not get into. It's a term, technical term of economics. Okay? Female labor force participation ratio. It is talking about how many women are working. Okay? So if you have written women have poor LFPR, this you know as a problem because less women are working in India. Now we want a statistical data proving your point. If you are telling this to UPSC examiners that women are having poor female LFPR, then they need a proof stating the same thing. And if you have a statistical data in your current affairs, static plus current affairs notes, you can add it there. ठीक है, that is why I'm asking you, please try to append your static and current affairs part, that is important. Okay, and these should be the sources just for verification. Please don't start reading them, they are very long pages. Okay. Okay, and related to current affairs, making notes, initially you don't do it. Okay, initially, because see, we have done it earlier. I remember in my first year of preparation, I was making notes of editorial because somebody told me that it is important. After within 3 months itself, 3 diaries were filled, and I did not remember what all was written in that because I was not even understanding about it. Okay, so as of now, for until and unless your base is ready, please don't read, please don't make any notes of current affairs. You will be automatically able to start writing down once you are ready with the foundation part. Okay, any confusion? No confusion? Okay, so can we start with the class now? Of course you can. You can sit anywhere where you can study. So these are the 3 basic news that we will be discussing, and whatever is left out in current affairs so basically we will be discussing current affairs every week. Okay, and whatever news is left out in this week might be covered in the next week. Okay, this will happen when you are reading one particular newspaper and your friend is reading another newspaper also. For example, let's say you are reading Hindu, the other one is reading Express. Some article appeared in Express which did not appear in Hindu today. Have patience, don't switch your paper. Okay, that article will come to Hindu also in within 2-3 days itself. Okay, and apart from this, don't go for Yojana, Kurukshetra. We have some 7 to 8 magazines: Down to Earth, Yojana, Kurukshetra, South Asia Politics for IR students. They will also say whether do we have to need. You don't have to read such articles. It is magazines. It is not required. Okay, we are already going through all of this to give you, to deliver you all of this information. Okay. Okay, so let us begin with the first article. This is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, okay, you people will start writing notes. Just one clarification. For me, it is comfortable if I look into your faces, okay? Because your faces tell me whether you are understanding things or not. So I will give you time to write. I'll share the PPTs also. If you do not want to write, you can write it at home. I'll share the PPTs. But at least by your face, please let us have this communication, okay? And also we will be asking, I'll be asking questions, so I want you to be active in class. Okay? So coming to the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. So basically Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, it means Indian, Nyaya basically means justice. Samhita is code, rules. Okay? So this is basically a replacement of Indian Penal Code. Indian Penal Code refers to a document which penalizes some kind of activity. If you are doing this which is wrong, this will be the penalty. If you are doing this, this is wrong, so this will be the penalty. Basically, this is enlisted under Indian Penal Code. Okay, Indian Penal Code was prepared by this uncle. His name is Macaulay. Okay, 1837. He prepared Indian Penal Code in 1837. Okay. And because this uncle was a Britisher, so he did not want, obviously, he will never support democracy. Obviously, it's a colonial regime. By mentality itself, they have the idea of exploitation. Okay? So anybody who tries to speak up against the government is their enemy. So anybody, if you are trying to criticize the government, which is very much welcome in democracy. In a democracy, criticism is one of the major components. Okay, democracy, a healthy democracy should always welcome criticism. Okay? So criticism, if anybody tried to criticize the British government, that was a penal action. So IPC will enlist anything which is anti-Britisher. Okay, or it will promote anything that is pro-British. Okay, all such activities will become pro-Britishers. All such activities will be incentivized if it is pro-Britisher. All such activities will be penalized if it is anti-Britisher. Okay, so that was the case with Indian Penal Code. Apart from Indian Penal Code, we also had 2 more acts which has been amended by this one, proposed to amend. Indian Evidence Act, and the other one is Code of Criminal Procedure. Okay? So the Code of Criminal Procedure is being replaced by Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Bill. Nagrik means citizen, Suraksha is safety. Okay? So Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Bill, and the other one is Indian Evidence Act. Okay, this is being replaced by Bharatiya Sakshay Bill. Sakshay basically means witness. Okay. So, this clarification. Whenever it is written as bill, it is not passed. It is in stage. It can be either Lok Sabha or pending in Lok Sabha, pending in Rajya Sabha, or pending presidential assent. If it crosses the presidential assent, it becomes an act. Correct. So, as of now, because it is proposed by the Home Minister, because it is proposed by the government in legislature, so it is right now a bill. Okay? So all these three bills are to be replaced, three codes are to be replaced. The Code of Criminal Procedure will be replaced by Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Bill. Indian Penal Code to be replaced by Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, and Indian Evidence Act to be replaced by Bharatiya Sakshay Bill 2023. Okay. Now, when this was being drafted, because this is a major change, right? It's a overhauling, overturning of what is criminal activity, what is a civil act offense, what is a criminal offense, for how many years, what should be the punishment for this activity, what should be the punishment. It's a major change to our code, okay, to judiciary, to law. So because it is all very much related to law, so we called upon Mr. Bajpai. He is the NLU Vice Chairman, National Law University Vice Chairman of Delhi. Okay, he was the chairman of the committee who has made these recommendations. Okay, and his name is Bajpai. And it has, this committee, while analyzing the report or while preparing the draft, has undergone previous committees. So out of these committees, not many are popular excepting one. One is Malimat Committee. Okay? So all these committee recommendations were undertaken to finally create this draft. Okay. Now, Malimat Committee, I'm telling you, is important because Malimat Committee objected to the criminal justice system of India. It says that the criminal justice system of India is pro-criminals. Okay. We are not looking at the sorry state of affair of the victim. Okay. We just want to ensure that incorrect criminal should not be penalized. We are just looking for a correct criminal. In this sense, we often tend to lose the criminal itself. Okay. For example, what happened in Arushi murder case? It was a murder case in Gurgaon, and ultimately the parents were only arrested. Okay. The investigation carried out for a very long period of time because investigators, the police was continuously saying that we cannot get hold of any person who is incorrect, okay, who has not done the mistake or who has not done the criminal activity, not committed the murder and still being penalized. We do not want this. So investigation carried out for a very long period of time. Now the parents got so much annoyed with the situation that we are not getting hold of the correct murder. Ultimately, they only accepted that we let us close down the case by saying that we have only, now what is true, we also do not know even till date. But ultimately, the criminal justice system could not get hold of the murderer because of just one pointer, that they do not want to penalize an incorrect person, right? But in this case, what about the victim? What about the victim's parents? Okay, they were looking for justice, they did not get justice. Okay, so Malimat committee objected to this entire cycle. He said that our criminal justice system should be amended such that we try to improve the society. Okay, we do not hate the criminals, we just hate the crimes, what Gandhiji has already said. So all such amendments were recommended by Malimat Committee and all the previous committees whose recommendations have been taken care of while preparing this draft. Done? Now, I want to know if anybody knows the legislative procedure. Do you know how a bill is passed? So this, everybody knows. Can somebody explain me? Can you explain, please? No. Green t-shirt. Top. Uh-huh. Correct. Correct. So it can originate either in Lok Sabha or in Rajya Sabha, approved by, after discussion, approved by houses and then shifted to the other house, then also discussion is occurring, approved by president. So this is passed. Okay. Now, within India, one pointer I'll add here. Within India, we follow a parliamentary form of democracy. All of us understand what is a parliamentary form of democracy? Our executive is sitting inside the parliament. Executive is a part of legislature. The task of legislature is to make law. The task of executive is to execute the law. And the task of judiciary is to ensure that the law is being properly implemented. Right? Right? Our executive is sitting inside the legislature. Matlab, they will propose a bill to the legislature. As a government, we are proposing this bill. The legislature will have to approve the bill, and then it enters into the final stage, that is assent of the president. So same procedure was followed by this also. Matlab, it was introduced in Lok Sabha, the discussions will go on, then it will be passing to the next house, that's Rajya Sabha. After Rajya Sabha, the presidential assent ke baad only it will become an act. Okay? Until then, this is a bill only. Okay. They have taken, it can be, I'll just add Ranveer Singh committee here after just verifying about this. But we have taken recommendations from all these committees. Ranveer Singh committee can be one of them. Okay. But we will still verify it once and then add. Singh's committee on also. So that's what I'm saying. We have taken recommendations of all these committee. Ranveer Singh committee can be one of them. Maybe majority of the recommendations have come up from them, but the committee who has finally drafted the bill is the one who is S. Bajpai, who is the chairman of, vice chairman of NLU. Okay, he has finally drafted the bill. Okay. Now coming to the provisions of the bill. Okay, so we will be discussing some of the major provisions of the bill, which itself is too many. Okay, I'm telling you because it is an overhaul, so it is a very exhaustive structure. We will not be discussing the exhaustive structure. We will be discussing only the debatable portions. Okay, and you can continue reading it, or we can continue discussing it as and when the next session of the Sansad, the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha meets, and they start discussing it. Okay. So the first provision of the bill that is related to sedition, and the most controversial one. Okay, sedition was present in IPC, the previous one, its predecessor, Indian Penal Code, में section 124A was related to sedition. Okay, this was talking about sedition. Basically meant any activity, by doing any activity, if you are creating aggression or enmity with government, or abetting enmity, matlab you are promoting enmity with government by your action, by your words. If you are doing so, then that will be a part of sedition. Okay? Sedition has often been criticized, I told you, because the idea was from Macaulay, right? So that means if you are, the core idea of sedition was, if you are trying to speak up against government, the British government, you will be charged under the IPC 124A. You know any leader who has been charged under IPC? The historical leaders. Mahatma Gandhi. Yes, Mahatma Gandhi was charged on sedition. Anyone else? Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh would have, but the popular names is Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, you have heard his name? Bal Gangadhar Tilak wrote an article in one of his papers, Kesari, criticizing one of the policy of Britishers. Okay? And he was charged with IPC section 124A. Okay? So sedition. Gandhiji was also has also faced charges under sedition, and when he was faced charged with sedition, he actually thanked the British government, saying that I am facing the same charges as that of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Okay, so he has also faced IPC 124A, section 124A. So sedition under the new law, under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, this term of sedition has been removed. Okay, but what has come up is something bigger than this, and that is subversive activities. Subversive activities will relate to any such activity, either by action, by speaking, or even by funding, or even by promoting. For example, someone else is undertaking a seditious activity and you're promoting that. Okay, then that will also be coming under subversive activities. Okay? Subversive activities is generating any feeling of enmity or trying to overthrow existing government. Okay, legally constituted existing government ko if somebody is trying to overthrow by words, by action, by funding, by promoting, by abetting, all that will be coming under subversive activity. That is why I'm saying this term has been replaced, removed. Okay, but what has come up is something bigger than this. Okay. Okay, so the law expands the definition such as aiding through the financial means. That means if someone else is doing and you're funding it, then also it's a problem. Okay, for example, JNU students, okay, or AMU students, they spoke something against the government. Okay, can be we will not get into whether they spoke or not, or what did they speak. Let us say they spoke about something against the government. Okay, and someone else is trying to fund these governments or fund these such kind of movements. So all that will be now coming under sedition. Okay, or they are just saying you did a right thing, you spoke correctly, you opened up, you whatever was your aggression, you spoke about it. So let's say if I tell this to JNU students that what you did was correct, at least you spoke up against the democracy, so I will also be charged under sedition. Getting my point? So this has been expanded. Now, initially penalty was 3 to 7 years depending upon what kind of statement or what kind of activity has been carried out, what action, what words, what finance, what has been carried out. Initially the penalty was ranging between 3 to 7 years. Now all that has ended up to 7 years. Okay? So that is why we are saying that this is expanding. Okay? Any confusion here? Yes, it will definitely hinder the freedom of speech and expression. It will also come in contact with IT Act 2000, in which in print media also we cannot say anything. For example, you can't post something on social media website against the government. That will also be coming under sedition now. Okay, somebody has posted it and you are liking it, that is also a problem now. Getting my point? And it has been a problem. That is what was the Shreya Singhal case, section 66A, removal of section 66A. What they have done was, somebody posted something against the Maharashtra, one of the Maharashtra leaders, and 3 girls have liked that comment. They did not even post anything. They liked that comment and they were charged under sedition. Same case. So I'm saying that this is expanding now. Okay? And this linked with, you will see one of another provision, it has become more draconian now. We will read about that provision. Another provision is related to rape. Okay. So in the previous version, that is IPC, Indian Penal Code, we had section 375. Okay. Section 375 talks about rape. It says that non-consensual intercourse activity between a male and a female will be charged, will be considered as rape. Okay? But there are 2 exceptions to Article 375. IPC Section 375. There are 2 exceptions. One exception is intercourse carried out by a husband to his wife. This will not be considered as rape. And the second exception is if any such activity is carried out by a medical examiner, that will also not be considered as rape. Okay? A medical examiner, for example, for any kind of, let's say, for testing of rape itself, they will undertake certain activities, touching of any private part. Okay, so that will also not be considered as rape. Okay, so this will these are the 2 exceptions to IPC 375. Sexual intercourse by a man with his wife being less than 15 years of age. This was if the wife is less than 15 years of age, then only we are calling it as rape. Okay, if it is greater than 15 years of age, it is not rape. Now, there is one problem here. Our POCSO says that there is another act which is talking about prevention of child sexual harassment. Okay? It says that child is considered as anybody who is less than 18 years of age. Okay? So, this IPC section 375 was not in coherence with the POCSO Act, because IPC was considering anybody less than 15 years of age and POCSO was considering anybody less than 18 years of age. So they were not in coherence with each other. What this new Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has done is they have increased the age to 18 years. Okay? Matlab, a sexual intercourse by a man with his wife being less than 18 years of age, only in that case it will be rape. If she is more than 18 years of age and it is non-consensual, it is not a rape. Okay? That means marital rape is still not a criminal activity in India. Even under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, they have not introduced marital rape as one of the criminal offense. Okay? So basically what we have done is we have brought it in at par with POCSO. This is prevention of child sexual harassment. Okay. So Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has brought in the law in coherence with POCSO. That's it. Marital rape is still not a criminal offense under the new law also. Okay. Okay. Another provision is related to false promise of marriage. So currently in IPC, we do not have any provision related to false promise of marriage. So for example, let's say a person has made a false promise of marriage and undertaking sexual intercourse with another lady, okay, or even if it is opposite, okay, with false promise of marriage, if a lady is undertaking sexual intercourse with another man, okay. So till now, there is no such law in IPC which will criminalize such activity. But under the BNS, this is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, we have created a new law. Okay? So basically under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, we have created a law saying that if you are making a false promise of marriage, then we will be criminalizing it with an imprisonment of almost 10 years along with a fine. Okay? So if it was not there in IPC, how was judiciary tackling these cases? Okay? Because false promise of marriage was not a criminal act till now. So how was judiciary handling it? It was handling it with section 375, that's rape, okay, read along with section 90. Okay? So the penalty will also be granted in a similar manner. Section 375 read along with section 90. Now section 90 says that if the consent of sexual intercourse is given by the person under fear of injury or under a misconception of fact, okay, if the other person who has given the consent is under a misconception of fact, that is false promise of marriage can be one of the conditions, right? So if they are under a misconception of fact, then also we will be putting it under section 375, that it is a rape. Getting my point? Section 375 read along with section 90. Section 90 says that if you are deceiving the person, misconception of fact, or trying or scaring it, fear of injury, okay, under such conditions, if the person has given a consent, then also this will be coming under section 375. So it becomes a rape. Okay? So that is how judiciary was handling it till now. Now it doesn't have to do all this because Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has come up with a new law related to false promise of marriage. Okay. Okay. Another and this is something very good step. Okay, so this is community service. The penalty is in terms of community service. In India, we did not have any kind of community service as a penalty. Okay, the criticism was in that case, community service itself will become a downgraded thing. Okay, because criminals are doing this. Okay, but it has been introduced. It was already in law in US and UK and Sweden. What they are doing is, if it's a petty theft, okay, somebody who is not a repeat offender, or some petty theft has been done, or some petty crime has been done, okay, so in that case the penalty can be community service for whatever period judiciary wants to give. They can decide community service for certain amount of period. Now the criticism initially why we did not have this in our law book was because community service itself will become a downgraded thing. People will look down upon the community service because the criminals are doing that act, right? Now we are trying to upgrade this. You remember in the discussion, beginning of the discussion, we started discussions saying that now we are supposed to hate the crime and not the criminals. Okay? So the crime is a problem, theft is a problem, not the criminal is a problem. That's why we are trying to put them back, inculcate them back into society by asking them to do the community service. Okay. Hopefully this will bring certain change. Another major, this is also very major step that has been taken by Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. It says that trial by absentia, matlab, the person who has committed the crime, even if that person is not present in India, we still will be able to penalize them. Okay? Trial by absentia. This is true for Dawood Ibrahim or any other cases or any other such person. Okay. The problem with them is we have so many pending cases with him, and as soon as the judiciary summons them, the person is not able to come to court, and the case keeps on running for a very long period of time. Okay? I checked the number for this, it was 47 cases pending against him. Okay? So see, imagine 47 cases being closed in one day itself. What they have done now is This person, let's say judiciary summoned Dawood Ibrahim and he did not come to court. Okay, because he did not come to court, on that basis we will not be keeping the case pending. I'll declare him as an absconder. Okay, now because he has run off from the country, I'll not leave the case as it is. I will close the case. Court trial will still take place in their absence. Declared absconder, trial will take place and the sentence will be pronounced. So the penalty will be given. Now, as and when we sign an extradition treaty and bring the criminal back to India, he will be penalized. Now, we don't have to wait that after signing an extradition treaty, we will be bringing him back to India. Within India, the case will run for a very long period of time. In the meantime, he will get bail and he will again run off. Okay, again bringing him back. So all this cycle, say, we will be able to come out. Okay, even if the criminal is not present, the trial will be done, sentence will be given. As soon as he is brought to the country, the penalty will be given. Okay. Okay, another provision is related to timeline. Okay, so can we complete this article and then I'll give you time to write? Is that okay? Okay, so understanding everything till now, any confusion? No. Okay, so key provisions of the bill that is related to timeline. This is directed to reduce the number of under trials. Okay, in India, under trials is again another very big problem. We have so many people with whose cases are running. They might not be the accused also, but because their cases are running, they have to stay in jails. Okay, this is also leading to overcrowding of jails and reducing the facilities which is available here. So what we need to do is basically close down the case, reduce the timeline, shift, fix. Within this period, this task should be done, and that is what has been done under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. It says that charge sheet must be filed within 90 days itself. So charge sheet refers to any complaint which has been made in police station. It is a sheet which has been filled with certain charge against a person. So police complaint has been done. This must be filed within 90 days of the offense itself. Okay? And court can give a permission for another 90 days to think whether I need to file the charge sheet or not. Let's say the case of domestic violence. Okay, usually such cases are repealed. What happens is, let's say I'm giving this example because this is the usual case. Usually women are beaten in a house. There can be men also, but I'm saying the women's side is usual case. Okay? So a woman goes to the police station, she makes a complaint, she says that my husband has beaten me. Okay? Then police will ask her, shall I file the charge sheet? She will say, okay, let me consider and rethink and then I'll come back to you. She goes back and the husband convinces her to not file a charge sheet. This is a very common case, I'm telling you, very common in India. So because women emotionally, they are very easily driven. So they will agree, my husband has changed, so I'll not file the charge sheet. So charge sheet must be filed within the 90 days of offense. The person, when he has beaten her, within 90 days period, charge sheet must be filed. If it is not filed, then court can give an extra permission of another 90 days to file the charge sheet. Okay? I gave example of domestic violence, but the example can be from any other offense also. Okay? Then the investigation must be completed within 180 days and sent for trial. So 6 months time here will be given for investigation period. Okay, and investigation must be completed within 6 months and you send him for trial. Okay, once the trial is done, then the judgment must be given within 30 days itself. Okay, so that means all in all, if you see, this is almost 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1 year 30 days. If everything goes well, then maximum within 1 year 30 days things will come to end. Okay? That means we will be able to reduce the number of under trials under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Understood? Any confusion? Yes, he can. No. They can get bail within 90 days also. Okay. Okay, any other confusion here? Yes, it is not safe. It is not safe even for rape victims. Because first of all, they might not be able to ready to come and complain out of trauma. The charge sheet itself might not be filed. Okay. This is also not, I'm saying this is the general case which must be reduced, which will help us definitely reduce the number of under trials. But for certain cases, we might have to, this can be amended. The discussions are yet to be undertaken in Sansad. But such proposals can be made. You change it on the basis of what kind of offense it is. Okay, let's say for a rape victim, She needs relatively more time to come out of the trauma and come file the charge sheet. Okay, so it can be one of the proposal that you change it on the basis of what kind of offense it is. Okay. Any other query? Uh-huh. In their absence, sentence will be pronounced. That person is not the original. He has been kicked. First of all, then the person should have appeared in court in that case. He has been. Acha. So habeas corpus is still an option, na? They can court can summon the body in court. No, but the person is taken away. He is thought to be the criminal by the society, and he is taken away by the original criminal. And in his absence, the agreed. I'm saying habeas corpus is still an option. Habeas corpus will, what is habeas corpus? 32? Call the body off, right? So they will ask, let the person come in. So find out about investigation whether the person is residing in India or not. Okay. But that is a case, but I'm saying there is an alternative to this. I would still not say that this is a minor subset. This is definitely a problem. Any confusion? No, what if the person kills someone and then also the case is closed, na? Let us say no place of giving penalty, na? Whom will you give penalty? Agreed, it will come under suicide. It will come under BNS. It will not be coming under a suicide criminal act. Under the new BNS, suicide is a criminal act. Deployment. And once the BNS passes, as of now it is not passed. If it passes, then it is not a criminal act. Okay. Display is very poor. For everybody, display is poor. We'll come back to class, please. Not a criminal act. See, I am telling you are talking about BNS or IPC? About IPC, failed attempt of suicide is not a criminal activity. Nah, a person will not be punished. See, we'll come back. And it's based on the government because of some order of the government. For example, so I'm protesting against that. People have been protesting against the CSAT of UPSC also. So let's say a person A by ABC dies. But why did they arrest you? Because I'm just protesting. Because it happened. Because, for example, just a minute. Please clarify your previous information itself. The person A has committed suicide, and they have come and arrest you. Different. Protesting. Arrest. Okay. Okay. So I'm asking that whether I'm applicable to file the case against Section 19. I mean Article 19 of Fundamental. Yes, you can definitely. Suicide, as far as my knowledge goes, nobody has committed suicide. But I'm saying people are protesting against the CSAT paper is getting extremely difficult. That I also agree. Okay, so people are protesting against this. Now, if in case police comes and arrests them, okay, a simple arrest stating ki, or let's say in the first stage, usually police will not arrest them. Usually, it will come and say, ki, this is a last warning. You people, please go back and better prepare for the exam. Okay, this is the kind of warning the police gives. Let's say once or twice, and still the people are protesting. So they will come and shoot water pipes or tear gas. Okay, at max. Even if the public are going violent, only in that case they will be putting up water or even tear gas. No, arrest so even will come at the last stage, I'm saying. Protest, yes, it is their right to protest. See, it is not a fundamental right. So protest can still be made, okay, but police arrest will be the last stage. Okay, police can still arrest them if they are adhering to violence. Police can still arrest them. Okay, but usually I'm saying this is the last resort. Okay, they will come and just give them warning. Okay, next is related to mercy petition. So in mercy petition, things go on for a very long period of time. We got to know that Rajiv Gandhi case the decision was taken few years back. So Rajiv Gandhi died in 1889. 91, correct, sorry. 89 he came to power, 91 he died. So no, 85 Indira Gandhi died. 84 was the anti-Sikh riot. Indira Gandhi died in 84. Okay, so coming to the mercy petition. So mercy petition itself takes a very long time, very long time, especially if politics is involved there. Okay, in Rajiv Gandhi case, politics was involved. We cannot punish somebody from Tamilian society, so Tamil Nadu government was in favor of them. So because of the politics involved, it went on for a very long period of time. Okay, so submit the mercy petition within 30 days to the governor, to the state governor. You must submit the mercy petition within 30 days. If the governor rejects your mercy petition, you still have to face, let's say, capital punishment or life imprisonment. Okay, we'll quickly revise the previous portions because online students have missed the class. Okay, can you first confirm from which topic you have missed? From where you have missed the class. Suicide. Okay, suicide to यहीं पे था. Okay. Okay, so I'll repeat this, only the suicide part. Mercy petition was the next one, right? So suicide mein IPC, the forefather of BNS, BNS is still not in place, but whatever is running as of now, IPC section 309 says that suicide is a criminal act. Okay? It is a criminal act, so the penalty will also be more than 7 years of punishment. Okay? But because the person who has committed the crime himself or herself is dead, so there is nobody to penalize, so the case gets closed automatically. Now, suicide is itself misused very often. For example, I told you that someone else, person A kills B, okay, and they will create a plot of suicide, okay, and the investigation may also, it comes out that the person has committed suicide, so the case gets closed. The person who has committed the crime is actually not penalized. Okay? Ultimately, suicide was misused very often, and under the Mental Health Care Act of 2017, okay, Under the Mental Health Care Act of 2017, if it is a genuine case of suicide, now we understood that the person who has committed the suicide is a victim. Okay, they are not basically criminals, they are victims. Now, because they are victim, we need to treat them with some hope of life. Okay, we need to bring them, pull them back to society. Okay? So under Mental Health Care Act of 2017, it became punishable only in exceptional cases. So basically, Mental Health Care Act has overridden Section 309 of IPC. Okay. Now the problem till now has been that there is lack of awareness at police station about the Mental Health Care Act. So they do not know that suicide is criminalized only for small offences. So because they know IPC Section 309, so for all this such cases of suicide, they will close down the case immediately, saying that the person who is to be penalized is actually dead. So we can close down the case. They do not know about this updation. Okay? Under the BNS, under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, it says that suicide is to be declared as a criminal act or if and only if it hinders a public servant to commit his duty, to do his duty. Okay? And the example can be a student protest or a protest related to, let's say, employment, or related to farmer protest, or related to inflation. Any such kind of protest may, if a person has self-immolated, okay, by committing suicide, or has undertaken fast unto death, okay, and the person died. So in such case, the person has been hindering a public servant to do their duty. The duty of the public servant was to maintain law and order, and he was not able to do so because of one person. Okay? So in such case, it is hindering a public servant to do his duty. Only in that case, it becomes a suicide under BNS. Okay? Now it is not a generalized criminal activity. Okay? And there is also punishment for abetment of suicide. Abetment of suicide matlab a person has committed suicide and the rest of them are promoting. Okay, you did a right thing. Okay, because of such activities of government, a person should commit it. There is no other option other than to kill yourself. So you did the right thing. Such kind of abetment of suicide, promoting such activity, is also punishable offense under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay. And the next one is related to mercy petition. Huh? Huh? No. Okay. The next is related to mercy petition. Okay, and in mercy petition, we were discussing things go on for a very long period of time, especially related to mercy petition. For example, Nirbhaya case, you remember when did this happen? The Delhi rape case, 2012. Okay. From 2012, the mercy petition was going on up to some 2-3 years back also. Okay. The last person out of those 5, the last person was still asking for mercy petition. I'm saying it took so many years to complete the case. Okay. So usually mercy petition goes on for a very long period of time. So to cut short this time period, BNS declares that mercy petition must be submitted to the governor within 30 days. And if the governor rejects the mercy petition, you still have to face the penalty which has been awarded to you. In that case, you can submit the appeal to president within 60 days itself. Okay? So this 90 days period you will be having. After this, how it is left to the president how much time he takes to finalize his decision on mercy petition. Okay? So this is the time period which is given to file the petition. It can be 30 days to governor. If rejected, then 60 days to president. Okay? And death sentence can be only converted to life imprisonment now under BNS, and life imprisonment can be pardoned only within 7 years. So if you have to pardon, completely free the person, that must be done within a period of 7 years itself. Okay, after 7 years, such kind of pardoning cannot be carried out related to life imprisonment. Okay. The next is related to Section 377. Section 377 was talking about unnatural intercourse, okay, or unnatural carnal intercourse, what we call this. Carnal is also basically, it means consensual, with approval. Okay, carnal intercourse was actually penalized under Section 377 for unnatural relationship. Okay? For example, a man having relationship with another man, a woman having relationship with another woman, such kind of physical relationship was penalized criminal activity under 377 was. Okay? It talks about unnatural sex. In 2018, it was partially revoked. Partially revoked, we are saying, because the intercourse still with an animal or with a child is still a criminal activity itself. Okay. A man with a man or woman with a woman is no more a criminal activity. So because section 377 was discussing about all of them, and only gay and lesbian sex or transgender sex we have removed, so we are saying this as a partial revocation of section 377. Okay. Now under the BNS this has been completely removed. Okay. And rape under the BNS is completely gendered, matlab only done by a man to a woman. Okay, the opposite is not considered as rape in under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay, if a woman is committing such crime on a man, forced consensual sex, non-consensual sex done by a woman or against a man, this is not considered as rape under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita rape law. Okay. So what about those? Sorry. So what about male victims of sexual assault? Okay, they are left with no case. Matlab, I do agree that by repealing 377 partially also they were not having any option. But because you are creating a new code, you could have given some provisions related to male victims of sexual violence also, right? So that's what it is saying, that section has been removed under BNS. So the male victims of sexual violence, sexual assault are not left with any recourse to law. They cannot go to court for stating that they have faced sexual assault. Okay? So that will come under one of the criticism of Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Now few more provisions and then we will discuss briefly about the pros and cons. Okay. Okay, another key provision is related to e-filing of FIR, and this is something remarkable change. Matlab, this government has done immensely to digitize the everything. Digitization of finances, digitization of financial inclusion, digitization of education, and digitization of filing the complaint. Okay, e-filing of FIR is now an option. Let's say I have faced a theft. Okay, mobile and purse was lost. Somebody stole it. Okay, if I have to file an FIR, then and let's say I'm traveling in train, so I don't even know where was this act done. Okay. So usually till now, what was the problem is wherever the offense was done, only in that police station you will have to file an FIR. Now this has been removed under this Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. There will be options of two FIR. One is e-filing of FIR. You immediately use someone else's mobile and file an FIR. Okay? E-filing of FIR is an option. Another option is, this is known as zero FIR. Okay? You can file it from any place, stating that my phone was lost or my wallet was lost while I was traveling in this train. I don't know the exact location of where this offense was done. Okay? This is known as zero FIR. So zero FIR is also a major improvement in our IPC. Okay, under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. This provision was not there under Indian Penal Code, has been introduced under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay? Zero FIR. I was reading in paper, it was saying that zero FIR has been introduced by BNS. But there may be some other clause added to it. Maybe some other clause might be added. Okay. We'll have to check into that clause, maybe. And some condition might be there. Zero FIR. Okay. Okay. But Indian Express says that this has been introduced under BNS. That's what maybe conditional, unconditional things might have come up. This might be unconditional, that might be conditional. Depending upon what kind of offense it is, you can file a zero FIR. Okay. Now another provision is trial by video conferencing. So if the accused or the victim is not able to appear in court for some genuine reason, then we do have the option of video conferencing and getting the statement taken from the accused or the victim. Okay. So trial can be carried out. Matlab, judges will also be sitting in the video conferencing. Lawyers will also continue debating in video conferencing. So such kind of thing will ensure a speedy justice. We will not be able to leave the case pending for a long period of time. Okay. Now this has certain problems. I feel, I did not read it in paper, but I feel that the statements can be forced, right? Because it is video conference, so you do not know what is the reality behind that mobile. And in the age of deep fake, we don't even know that the person has genuinely been making the statement or not. Okay. So there is some problem. Okay, digitization is something that is good, but you will have to ensure that deep fake things are not happening. did you hear about this? There was a video from Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, and making a statement that the Russia-Ukraine war is over. And after 5 minutes, they declared that the video has been created by an AI. So this is something what deepfake can do. So that means we still have a problem here. Okay, heavy dependence on digital devices is not something very healthy. Okay, so another provision related to BNS is saying it allows handcuffing only in certain cases. Let's say that the person is repeat offender or escaped from custody or charged under organized crime of, let's say, terrorism, insurgency, or any such thing, or fake currency. In that case only we will be handcuffing that person. Other than that, we will not be handcuffing the person. Okay. And police can detain or remove any person resisting, refusing, or ignoring or disregarding directions given as part of the preventive action. Okay? So if the police is asking to the person to do something and they are not doing it, then under preventive action they can detain the person. Just detain, not even put them in custody. Bring them to police station. Okay, or in general, I have seen people, police people, they will ask them, do you just write a sorry statement to the police officer and then leave? Okay, so it's simple detention. Okay, they can get hold of the person. Okay. Okay, key provisions of the bill also includes related to terrorism, and here are certain problems. Okay. Basically, IPC was not talking about terrorism because that time terrorism was not existing when IPC was created. So IPC was not talking about terrorism. Now we have introduced under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, we have introduced terrorism and defined it as a very elaborate offense. Okay, it's a very elaborate offense. So many acts have now been mentioned as a terrorist activity under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. Okay? What we were following is UAPA. Okay? Unlawful Activities Prevention Act had defined terrorism. Okay? So we were following this. Now, the definition of terrorism under UAPA has also been expanded under Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. It has been defined under VS and obviously having a wider definition. Now, I think in 2019 there was certain changes which was introduced in UAPA, UAPA Amendment Act, and it says that once initially we had only terrorist organization. You can declare an organization as terrorist. Under the amendments of UAPA, you can declare a person also as a terrorist. Okay? That means a person, let's say the case of UP, wherein a press reporter was charged under UAPA, okay, then the press reporter will also become a terrorist. And what is more draconian is, if your name has entered into the terrorist list, be it organization or an individual or institution, if your name has entered into the terrorist list, it can never ever be revoked. Forever you become a terrorist. Okay, you imagine the condition of that press reporter in UP who has been charged under UAPA. Okay, he has been declared as a terrorist under UAPA and will continue to remain as a terrorist for rest of his life. Okay, this was another amendment which was made in UAPA in 2019. Okay. So and now because we have given a wider definition, so it becomes more draconian. Okay, this read along with subversive activities can declare a huge number of people as terrorists. Okay. Okay, so basically it also includes obstructing supplies or destroying public property. All such activities will become a terrorist activity. Okay, that means people who are burning buses in riots, they will also become terrorists now. Okay. So other key provisions of the bill now includes arrest only with the permission of DSP, Deputy Superintendent of Police. You need to seek permission from DSP if the penalty is less than 3 years or the accused age is greater than 60 years, then you will have to refer to DSP for the arrest of that person. Okay? Or capital punishment of rape of minor under 16 years of age. This is also a major change. Till now we were having capital punishment in a very rare stance. Okay? There are certain countries in the world who do not have the provision of capital punishment at all. Okay, and there are certain countries who will grant capital punishment for every other offense. Okay, but India has been running in middle. For certain offenses we have been granting capital punishment. For other offenses we have not been granting capital punishment. Okay, it because it has allowed us to move on a mediocre path. We have been able to transform public, bring them back. For example, the person who was charged for Nirbhaya case, he was actually feeling guilty till the last, by just before getting the final sentence. Okay, so people, we have been able to, India had success stories wherein we have been able to call back criminals feeling guilty, feeling sorry for what they have done. Okay, now under this, if the rape is done for a minor less than 16 years of age, this will always turn into capital punishment. Now this capital punishment under mercy petition can be brought back to life imprisonment. And in jails they will give penalty like this: day is counted as one day and night is counted as one day. So one day made 2 days gets over automatically. So basically, if a person is penalized for 3 years, they will come out within 1.5 year itself. Okay, so that is how the judicial system runs. In general, they will be very much relaxed to send them back, but still offenses are there are repeat offenders who will enter back. Okay, now coming to another provision, that is increasing the penalty from 2 to 7 years for death due to rash driving. For example, a person has done rash driving and has led to death of another person. And the person who has committed this rash driving, he did not report to the police or did not take the person to the police station. In such case, the penalty initially was 2 years, now it has been increased to 7 years. Okay? And mob lynching, till now tried under the murder law, it has become an independent law in itself now. Okay, what is mob lynching? Correct. A group of mob attacking another group of mob for any purpose. Okay. Another okay, you remember we were reading about 3 bills. Okay, Nyaya Sanhita, Nyaya Suraksha, and Sakshay. Okay, the Evidence Act. So Sakshay basically we will not be discussing too much because it is totally legal angle. Okay, we will be discussing majorly, we have discussed BNS, Nyaya Sanhita, and the other one is Nagrik Suraksha. Okay, this is criminal changes brought to Criminal Procedure Code. This says that trial, appeal, and proceedings may be held in electronic mode. Okay, so video trials we heard, video conferencing pe trials can be carried out, and appeal proceedings, all of this can be carried out in online mode, digital mode. Okay, the statement of accused can be taken via video conferencing, and that is what I'm saying is the problem. Can be a problem. Okay, heavy dependence on digital media. It can be deep fake, can be a forced statement. All this can come up if it is made only on video conference. Okay, this is something again very good. Search and seizure of articles and properties, and the visit to a crime scene by a forensic expert, and the recording of the victim's statement, all of this must be videographed. Okay, all the activities of search and seizure must be videographed. Now I'll tell you the case of Mehta, the person who has brought to limelight the problems of stock exchange. Harshad Mehta, correct, sorry. So Harshad Mehta was charged, initially he was charged with taking up non-transparency in his business. Okay, how he was carrying out trade, he was non-transparent in his business, so he was initially charged. After penalty, he came out of the jail and drugs was placed inside his house during the search and seizure procedure, and he was charged under Narcotics Act. Now such kind of activities will not be able to be carried out. Okay, because we are or forensic expert also. If let's say forensics are making any changes, mending any changes to the crime scene, all of this because it will be videographed, so such kind of changes will not be done. So that means we will not be able to frame a victim to become an accused. Okay, search and seizure of articles and properties, visit to a crime scene by a forensic expert, and recording of the victim's statement shall be audio videographed, preferably on a mobile phone. Okay, so this mobile phone has been added so that the things can be speeded up. Okay, we can increase, otherwise search and seizure procedure will become very slow, right? So the idea is to increase the speed of all these processes, but the idea in itself is something very good. It will bring transparency in investigation basically. Okay, and earlier only document was can be produced as an evidence. Okay, now communication devices will also be can be provided when the court has summoned a document. Let's say they have asked for what is the proof. So usually in camera also, in camera they have found that the person is meeting another person, and this has to be shown as a proof. So they will take a picture of it, take a printout, and present that document. Now all digital devices, now communication devices also, matlab mobile phones or any such devices, tablets or such things can also be projected as a document, proof, if the court is summoning a document. Okay. Okay. Two more things and then we'll take a break. Analysis pros and cons, okay, related to Nyaya Sanhita. The cons first, and this is where your committee will come into picture. The committee, I was saying that Bajpai committee has been formed, right? Vice chairman of NLU was the committee, chairman of the committee who has drafted these rules. So whatever has been the recommendations of this committee, this has not been brought to public notice. Okay? So we don't even know that do we have any coherence between BNS and the recommendations of the committee, or BNS is the idea of the government, or is it genuinely the recommendations of the committee? Because recommendations of the committee has not come to public notice. Getting my point? So this coherence is not known. That is the first con. The second is subversive acts or acts endangering sovereignty is the draconian part. I'm telling you that the meaning of sedition has been expanded. That becomes a problem. Okay. Then expansion of terrorist activities, for example, that's what, widening of the definition of terrorism, that destroying a public property will also now be considered as a terrorist act. Okay? So widening the definition of terrorist activities is again a problem. And reforms in bail adjudication to decrease the number of under trials and overcrowded persons. So bail adjudication, we were expecting some major reforms here. Matlab, the idea was also to reduce the number of under trials, right? So you increase the provisions of giving them bail. Okay? If they are out, maybe they might help you to solve the case faster. Okay? So we were expecting some major reforms in bail adjudication to reduce the number of under trials, which was not provided by BNS. And Section 144 or CRPC gives the power to DM to prohibit carrying of arms in public procession has been removed. Okay. Now DM cannot make an order that you are not supposed to carry arms in a public procession. Because DM cannot do so, so that means public can now carry arms in a procession, right? This can instigate violence, increase the degree of any kind of procession. The violence that can be committed by any kind of procession, this can increase. Okay, because the powers of DM has been reduced under Section 144. Okay. Okay, and lastly, marital rape has not been criminalized. So these are some of the cons related to BNS. Now it will unfold as and when it gets into discussion from various ministries or any other judicial authorities. Judges also will come up with their own recommendations. So this will, the story will unfold over a period of time. But because there were so many provisions, so we discussed here. And let's say you will be able to understand the story now when you're reading it in paper when the next session meets again. Okay. Now, related to pros, we already said that zero FIR or e-filing of FIR is a major benefit we have been introduced to under BNS. Okay. And registration of FIR in any police station, that's what, unconditional zero FIR was another major advantage. Then video recording of search and seizure procedure will bring fair investigation. The investigation process will itself turn very fair. And causing grievous hurt to extort confession. For example, the police themselves will beat the person. For example, let's say they arrest a person and they assume that this person is a criminal. Okay? So they will beat that person black and blue such that the person out of pain will accept the whatever penalty or will accept the crime himself or herself. Okay? So such kind of grievous hurt to extort confession, to bring out confession, will now become a criminalized torture. Matlab, this is not allowed now. Okay? Not allowed by police. And witness protection scheme is to be introduced by state. Okay? Now BNS says that this is a draft law we are making. Once it gets circulated to states, every state must come up with their own witness protection scheme. Okay? And bail shall be granted after serving 1/3 of the maximum term. For example, a person who has done an offense for the first time, okay, and that too not murder-like offense, something smaller. Okay, let's say jumping a signal or let's say snatching somebody's properties. Okay, or presenting fake documents, such kind of crimes if they have done, and they have served 1/3 of the maximum term which has been allotted to them, then we have the provision of giving them bail. only for first time offenders. Okay? So these were some of the pros and cons related to Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and Criminal Procedure Code, Nagrik Suraksha Bill. We'll discuss about Chandrayaan and NMC recommendations to doctors in the second half. Thank you so much and all the best. We'll meet in 15, 10, 5, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. we have started a mission to go to the go to the moon, and south pole of the moon is our target this time. Okay. Earlier also we have made attempts to go to moon. Okay. Under Chandrayaan 1 and 2. Under Chandrayaan 2, we were targeting to go to the south pole itself. And this time also we are targeting a soft landing. Soft landing matlab it should land, it should not crash. In Chandrayaan 2 also we were targeting a soft landing itself, but it crashed. So it made a hard landing. Okay. Hopefully, let's see this time things work out well. On 23rd of August, we will see what will be the final result. Okay. So Chandrayaan 3. So we will be discussing about Chandrayaan 3, the mission itself. What was the launch vehicle used? What is the difference between this? What is the difference between geostationary, geosynchronous? All of us know about it. How many of you do not know? Okay, I am interested in that. Okay, so coming to Chandrayaan 3, this is the third lunar mission. As the name suggests, it is 3. Okay, in the second attempt also, we were targeting to go to the south pole itself and make a soft landing. So before this, only US, former USSR, okay, and China have ended up in moon. Okay, US and USSR have reached the closer side of the moon, whereas China has gone to the farthest side of the moon. Okay. So amongst them, China has performed so far the best. Okay. India launched Chandrayaan 3 on 14th of July from Sriharikota. Okay, Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. And the update is, the last update, at least till yesterday, it was that day before yesterday, that the lander has separated from the propulsion module. Propulsion module is something that will propel it from Earth. Okay. And its task is to take the entire rover module, lander module to moon. Okay. Now once it gets separated, the task of propulsion module is over. Now the task will be to land and to rover. Okay. Rover matlab to move on that. Okay. So landing is about to occur on 23rd of August, and Chandrayaan 2 failed as it made a hard landing. Okay. Now the launch vehicle which we have used in Chandrayaan 3 is the LMV. We call this. You want to sit here? Okay. So this is LMV. This is basically a short form of GSLV Mark 3. Okay. GSLV stands for Geostationary Launch Vehicle. Okay. So basically, whatever satellites we send from Earth, okay, it can be either geostationary. Can you see this image? All of you? No? The last. Okay, yes, yours. Okay. Okay. So whatever satellites we are launching can be either geostationary or can be geosynchronous or can be PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. Okay. So those who are taking up PSLV, matlab has been launched using PSLV, will take up this route. Okay. Polar to pole. It will move from one pole to the other pole. Okay. The one who has taken up the geostationary orbit will always louder. It's okay. I will be very happy if you can contribute to class. So what, please tell me, geostationary orbit will always remain it will rotate only with Earth. So that is true for geosynchronous also. See, geostationary will always be above equator, always be above equator. And when Earth moves, this will also move and continue at the same orbit. So its orbit is always horizontal and horizontal, parallel to equator, perpendicular to pole connection. Okay? This is geostationary. Geosynchronous orbit will move like this. It is actually forming a structure of 8. If you see from here, see, it will move like this, then this, then this, then this. So from there, if you see, it is forming an 8-like structure there, like this, like this, like this, like this. Okay. It is not properly at poles, not properly at equator. Okay. So 1/3 of the orbit, we say, geosynchronous will cover 1/3 of Earth at one time. Okay. So 3 crossings it will be able to cover the entire Earth. That is the target of geosynchronous modules. Okay. Any confusion till here? No confusion. Okay. Another orbit is the sun synchronous orbit. Sun synchronous orbit, matlab we will place sun and Earth. Okay. This will be one axis and it will roam around like this. So sun and earth ko you connect it with one line, and sun synchronous will then become same orbit as that of earth. Okay? That is a sun synchronous orbit. And the satellite image, if you look at the satellite image also, you will be able to identify whether it's a PSLV or a GSLV. A GSLV will look like this, whereas the PSLV will look like this. If you can see the difference, there is a rocket attached at the bottom also in PSLV. These are all at GSLV, because it usually has to go to a greater distance. PSLV will come to a relatively closer to Earth's surface. Okay? PSLV launched vehicles will remain usually closer to Earth's surface. GSLV launched vehicles will go to a height of almost 36,000 kilometers. And a question which was asked in UPSC. Okay? It will almost go up to 36,000 kilometers, which is a very far distance from surface of Earth. Okay? Now the idea is PSLV is close to Earth's surface so that it can see what is happening on Earth. That means you can use this one for remote sensing, weather-based satellites. Okay? Because it is very close. Because it is very close to Earth's surface, it can see the movement of clouds. It can see the movement of vehicles. So that GPS what you are using is actually using a PSLV-based satellite, because it is remote sensing. It is looking into Earth's surface. Okay? On the other hand, this is usually used for communication-based satellites. Okay? Why I am saying this, it is usually used for communication-based satellites, because its distance from Earth's surface is very huge. Okay? Now we do have an ionosphere in between. Okay? So whatever communications are happening are done using ionosphere. So we want ionosphere in between Earth's surface and the satellite. That's why we push it beyond remote sensing or communication, weather-based, not communication, but weather-based satellites. We want the satellite to be very close to the Earth's surface. Okay? So that is the core difference between PSLV and GSLV. Now, depending upon what is our main task, we will be using either PSLV or GSLV. Okay? Now, we have made use of PSLV in going to Mars also. But then the idea was different. The logic that we applied there was different. Okay? Now, what has happened is, we will see, okay, we will be seeing India has made use of cost-efficient fuel mechanisms. How to minimally use fuel and make use of propulsion module to reach to the whatever destination we want to. We have done this in Mars, and we are replicating the same module in Chandrayaan 3 also. Okay? Now in Chandrayaan 3, we have a lander module, okay, by the name Vikram, on the base by Vikram Sarabhai. Okay? This is the lander module. This is going to land on the surface of moon. And then we have a Pragyan rover. So the Pragyan will come out of this lander module and it will start rovering around. It will start moving around the Earth's surface, moon's surface. Okay. Its task is to collect back material, collect certain material from the South Pole and monitor what is present in South Pole. Okay. Now, why South Pole only? That we will see later. But as of now, we are into the challenging part. Starting day before yesterday, when the propulsion module has separated from the lander module, we have entered into the most critical phase of Chandrayaan 3. Okay. It has become critical because we have to bring down the speed from 1.68 kilometers per second. Our satellite right now is running at 1.68 kilometers per second in a horizontal axis like this. Okay. First challenge that we need to turn is to change the orientation from horizontal to vertical. Only in that case it will land. Okay. And in this movement we have to reduce the speed. This is where we face the problem in Chandrayaan 2 also. If we are successful in this, we have succeeded in Chandrayaan 3. Okay. And this final result will be available on 23rd itself, 23rd evening 5 p.m. But we might, at least whether this part has undergone success or not, this we will come to know by 22nd itself. Okay? Whether they have turned towards a vertical module and whether we have been able to bring down the speed. So this is the part we need to excel to come out of the Chandrayaan 2 problem. Okay? Okay. So why South Pole? Why South Pole is because South Pole is the region of moon which has not faced the sunlight, okay, or usually it does not face sunlight for a long period of time. So it is relatively colder in nature. Now, because it is colder, it has not undergone any major geomorphological change. Okay? Geomorphological change has not occurred. This is the original raw crust of moon. Okay? If we are able to get the samples from here, that means we can get to know that originally moon has been comprised of what all things. If it is something that is facing the sun, because of heat, because of thermal radiation, some changes might have occurred on the crust. This change has not occurred at the south pole of the moon. That is why we are interested in south pole of the moon. Understood? Any confusion here? No? Okay, so the first thing is the crater area has been under shadow and it is cold up. Plus, there is presence of water witness. Previously, our Chandrayaan 2 went with NASA and we observed that there is presence of water here. Okay? So we are going back again to find out whether genuinely water is present, because earlier NASA told us that water is there. Now we are going to find out whether genuinely water is there or not. Okay? Point number 2, and we are supposed to get the material there. If we are able to get the material, we will be able to find out what the moon was originally comprised of. Okay, because only one of the theory of formation of moon also says that it has come out of Earth, and that is why we have the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so one of the theory also says so. So whether this theory is true or not, or how was moon formed originally, all that we will be able to come to know. Okay, one more intention is that all the countries who are trying to reach moon, they are trying to keep moon as the pit stop destination. Pit stop destination matlab we will develop a research center there, and all the space based explorations will be carried out from moon. Okay? That is why we are also interested in moon, but not specifically South Pole in that case. Okay? Now, Chandrayaan 3 ke liye, India and Russia are about to test the soft landing. Russia has also come up with the same project. Okay, they have launched on August 11th and they are landing on 21st of August at the South Pole itself. Okay? So, and we started on 14th of July and we will be ending on 23rd of August. Now, this difference of huge difference, only within 11 days they are reaching there. We are taking more than 1 month. Okay? That is because our satellite weight is, or our lander rover module has a very low weight. Okay, first of all, weight difference we have created. Second, fuel efficiency, we are reaching there with a very less amount of fuel as compared to Russia. You are a rich country, you can afford. We are not a rich country, we cannot afford. So we have developed this technology in Mangalyaan or mission Mangal, and the same thing we are applying here also. Okay, weight efficiency, fuel efficiency, and cost efficiency. Because of this, there is this delay. Okay, and how we are making use of less fuel is we are using the gravitational pull of Earth to come out of the propulsion. The gravitation, what we are doing is we launched our satellite here. Okay, and the first propulsion done from here took the first attempt to cross the orbit of gravitation. The range of gravitational pull, the first attempt was made. Similarly, like this, attempts was made regularly, and in the fourth and final attempt, we will cross the gravitational pull. That's why it took so much time. Okay, we are rovering and hovering again and coming back to the original position, again trying to propel and trying to come out with the gravity of Earth. Okay, in the fourth attempt, we are trying to cross over the gravitational pull. That is why it is taking so much time for us. Okay. Okay, and before this we have discussed US, USSR and China. All three of them have tried to reach the surface of moon. Okay, both US and former USSR have tried, because the side which is facing the moon is closer to us, so it was relatively easy project. China, which has come up late in the race, it was able to reach till the farther point, because over a period of time technology also developed. Okay. Okay, why moon for India is, first of all, we are also interested in discovery of helium-3. Okay, helium-3 will pose as a major rocket fuel for us, and also will be using for nuclear fusion reactors. Fusion, not fission. Okay, so helium-3, we are looking for helium-3 in moon. If we get this, we will be getting one major rocket fuel, plus we will be also getting a nuclear fusion fuel. Okay, plus it will also act as a pit stop for deep space exploration. This is common for most of the country, India, US, USSR, Russia, all the countries. Okay? But why is Russia interested in this is because it is looking for a three-phase plan. Okay, three-phase plan for lunar-based construction. So they are also trying to set up a base in moon. Okay, also the same thing, pit stop destination for deep space exploration. And for example, we do have an international space station, right? All the countries are collaborating and undertaking scientific research activities at space station. So similarly, Russia is trying to create its own space station on moon. Okay? It will be Russian dominated area. Okay? So moon is important for Russia because it is having a three-phase plan of lunar based constructions. Okay, it is also facing too much amount of Western sanctions, because of which it had come out of the lunar probe. There was a lunar probe planned between Europe and Russia. Okay, because of the Western sanctions, Europe and Russia has moved out of this. Okay, so if Russia is able to now reach the surface of moon at the South Pole before any other country does so, so it will send a signal that Russia is, you cannot avoid this country. Okay, whether it's on Earth, because it's a major resource of natural gas and energy, food supplies. Once it occupies Ukraine, it will also become a major food supplier to rest of Europe also. Okay, so Russia will become a major power on Earth as well as on moon. So it will send a message that Russia is a force to reckon with when it comes to space-based explorations. Okay. It is also important here. So basically, we are discussing the geopolitical angle related to Chandrayaan 3. Okay, and the article, this came up in Mint paper. There is another paper which discusses mostly economics, but this newspaper, it was saying Russia can now become the first country to land on the South Pole of Moon. If it does so on 21st of August, it will become the first country to do so, right? Plus, secondly, we have broken our collaboration with Russia in space probes. Okay, because Russia has been facing criticism after annexation of Crimea itself. So we have been trying to diversify in terms of arms import also. Other than Russia, we have started looking towards France in Rafale, or Israel, or even USA. Okay, so other than Russia, India is trying to look for other options. Okay. It is also criticized, okay, we have also joined the US-led Artemis mission. Artemis mission is talking about peaceful exploration of open space. Okay, open space, matlab outer space ko we will be using peacefully only for research-based activities or only for educational purpose. For that, we had an Artemis Accord. Okay, Artemis Accord initially was initiated by USA only, and India has joined this mission. If we join this mission, Russia says that the Artemis Accord is a tool of USA to dominate or conquer over outer space. Okay? And if India joins such a kind of treaty with US, that means it will call criticism from Russia against India also, right? So because we have joined Artemis Accord of USA, it has brought criticism from Russian side also, seen as a US initiative to colonize moon or even outer space. Okay? And another thing is our astronauts, we have been training so far we have been training at the Yuri Gagarin Space Center in Russia. Okay, now the entire training will be shifted to USA. Again, it's kind of breaking relationship between India and Russia. Okay, our relationship with US is turning more healthier. That is what Russia also assumes. Russia is now looking towards India as a tool of USA, and that is why it is aligning with China. Now you can call this as we are doing this because you are aligning with China, and Russia is doing this because we are aligning with USA. Okay? So whoever, whether the chicken came first or egg came first, ultimately the story is our alliance with Russia is right now dying down. Okay? And Chandrayaan 3 is another. See, we launched it on 14th of July, right? And Russia launched the same mission. They could have also joined our mission, right? But because the relations are now turning sour, so that means they are also deviating from, coming out of the space-based treaties between us and them. Okay. Okay. That's the end of Chandrayaan 3. And the last article today is related to National Medical Commission. Okay. I'll share the slides so you still don't have to write anything. If you get any other extra information, you can continue writing it. Okay, so the last article related to National Medical Commission is that NMC has come up with certain directives to doctors. Okay, across India, doctors must now follow certain kind of regulations, certain directives which has been provided by NMC. Now, first, let us understand who is NMC. Why are doctors listening to this organization? Okay. So basically, NMC is a statutory body. Now, if a body becomes a statutory body, it has a weightage. Okay? In terms of power, constitutional body is the most powerful one. Next comes the statutory body, and last comes the executive body. And this is made by a statute. The statute's name is also National Medical Commission Act, okay, which has created this body. And this body has replaced the Medical Council of India. Medical Council of India was responsible for education of doctors, MBBS doctors or PG doctors in India. For education purpose, MCI was the one which was responsible. Now, because it has replaced MCI, so now its main intention is providing education. Okay, NMC's main task is to ensure education of MBBS doctors or PG doctors. Okay. So it has now become the top regulator of medical education, and the exams that it will be conducting, for example, NEET exams. Okay, the final authority of NEET exam will lie in the hands of NMC, or NMC is the one which is conducting the final year exam of MBBS also. This is known as National Exit Test. Okay, all this authority is now transferred to the hands of NMC, which was earlier in the hands of Medical Council of India. Okay. Next, which says National Exit Test, it declares that now this person is fit, now this person is eligible to treat someone. Okay. It can be 4-year course, 3 years course, 7 years course, anything. But once, until and unless they clear this exam, they are not eligible to treat somebody. Okay. Okay. Now the regulations says that, first of all, now doctors will now have the authority of refusing the treatment. Refusing the treatment only in certain case. For example, if patient is beating the doctor, okay, then the doctor may refuse the treatment. If the patient is using abusive language, then the doctor may refuse the treatment. So doctor may now refuse the treatment to abusive, unruly or violent patients and their relatives also. Because this case is very common. If the patient dies, the relatives will become very much aggressive to the doctor. Okay. One example I wanted to give here is in Medantu. There was a very famous case. I don't know whether you know about it or not. In Delhi, there is a major big hospital chain by the name Medantu. It's a chain. So across India, you will find this hospital. I'm talking about the one that is in Delhi. What happened is the patient, a baby, he declared dead. Okay? Usually what happens even if the person dies, okay, for some moment, for 5-10 minutes, the hands, fingers can move. Okay, even after death, it can move. Okay? So once the doctor declared the patient as dead, it moved. And the rest of the people, rest of the relatives, they started beating the doctor, stating that the person was still alive and you declared the person as dead. Okay? So such kind of abuse over doctors has been, such incident has been, but we do have, there is opposite side of this coin also, that the doctors have been behaving irresponsibility. I guess I have one personal example wherein the doctor has declared a patient to have heart attack. They said that the patient had heart attack, and over a period of diagnosis, we got to know that the person had a simple gallbladder stone. Okay? So there are irresponsible doctors also, but there are the other side of the story also. Patient or relatives of the patient beating the doctor. Okay? So to prohibit all of this, we have come up with, NMC has come up with this regulation. The doctor may refuse the treatment. Under the Hippocratic Oath, they could never refuse the treatment. Okay? When NMC came up with a draft bill, I think last year, 21 or 22 May, they came up with draft regulations. In that they mentioned Charak Shapat. Charak Shapat is something that you cannot refuse the treatment. Same as the Hippocratic Oath in India. Okay? So Charak Shapat and Hippocratic Oath might face certain changes, was one of the recommendations of NMC, and it has now been amended now. Okay? The second is you must prescribe generic medicine. Now, what is generic medicine? We will see. It also says that social media use should be restricted only to educate people. So the doctors can make use of Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or any other social media for that matter, just to inform the patients that dengue is coming up. So you please undertake such and such practices. Please eat healthy food. This contains proteins, this contains, so such kind of educative, informative information can be provided by the doctors. You cannot misuse social media. And no doctor can deny birth control measures or abortions due to religious beliefs. Okay. So there are certain religions wherein abortion is not allowed. Okay. So doctor cannot say no to particular abortion case, stating ki your religion says so or my religion says so, that I will not, abortion is not allowed in my religion or in your religion, so I will not conduct abortion. Such kind of refusal is not allowed under the new regulations of NMC. Okay. Okay. Regarding social media, it says that you cannot paste the scanned report. Now, this was something very important. doctors, what they used to do is to promote them. See, this was the condition of a patient earlier, and this is the condition of patient now. Okay, so to promote what they have done to done in diagnosing or improving the health condition of a patient, they will post the scanned image of the patient. This is something very harmful because this is a private data. We can't even ask the reports of the public. For example, in pathology lab, if you give your blood sample, it is not allowed for them to check your reports. Okay, it should all go in a silent manner. Nobody should be able to see it until it comes to you. You should be the only one who should be seeing the reports. Okay. Now, if the doctors are posting the scanned image, that means they are bringing such data to public, right? So that is a problem. So this was not allowed. This has not under the new regulations. This is not no more allowed. Okay. Also, they must refrain from sharing testimonials by patients. So this also you would have seen in majority of hospitals, the patient's video will come up saying, I went to this doctor and I had such and such problem and all these problems were solved. So you please come to this doctor. This doctor is very good. Such videos we often see, right? So such kind of testimonials also is no more allowed in posting in social media. Okay. Also, it forbids doctors from purchasing, soliciting patients. Okay, for example, I will not ask the patient to do so. The patient did it himself. Okay, you post it in your own account. Okay, you don't post it in my account. You post it in your own account that you went to this doctor and the doctor. So ultimately, you cannot make use of the patient to advertise yourself. Okay, under the new regulations. Okay, regulations on prescribing medicine. This is important because now it is mandatory for them to prescribe a generic medicine. Okay. Prescribe generic medicine in legible capital letters. First of all, we know that the doctor's handwriting is never understandable. But under the new regulations, they need to write the medicine's name in the capital letters and it must be a generic medicine. Now, what is a generic medicine? Any idea? So, indigenously, we do not produce branded medicine, is it? Lower price. Same composition. Clinical trials, you mean? It is same as? This is same as the branded drugs, the costlier drugs, but the cost is, but the cost is very, very low. That is correct. What he is saying is, see, whenever we are coming up with a medicine, let's say paracetamol, all of us know, we consume it for fever. Okay? Paracetamol is an example of generic drug. Its branded drug name can be Dolo. Okay? So that is what for a paracetamol instead of Dolo is one of the recommendations from NMC. It says when we were making Dolo, when whichever country, let's say France or ABC country, it created Dolo. So what did they do is they came up with the ingredients. So ingredients cost is involved, and then we have a 4-year, almost 3 years time period for clinical trials. So clinical trials, what do? Is they will go to the patient, they will ask the patient that this is a new medicine we are coming up with and I want to try it on you. Okay? So with the approval of the patient, we will conduct the clinical trial. So all this cost of 4 years or 3 years, which it takes to conduct the clinical trial, is also part of the cost of developing a new medicine. That is why a new medicine is usually very costly. Okay? So once the new medicine is ready, it is circulated in market, but then you will have to pay royalty to the original medicine manufacturer because he came up with a new idea, with a new medicine. Okay? So that royalty is paid for a period of usually 10 years. For pharmaceutical industry, it is usually 10 years. Okay? Now, once this 10-year period expires, now we are very good at copy pasting, right? So what we will do is we will get hold of all the, we don't need to do the clinical trial, so that cost is lost. We don't have to pay the charge for clinical trials, and we will find out what all ingredients you made use of to make Dolo. I'll replace this ingredient with the another one, but absolutely no difference on the effect of the medicine. Okay? So the new medicine that now comes up will be known as the generic medicine, and India is a very, very big producer of generic medicine. ठीक है. Indian pharmaceutical industry is excelling because we are able to provide medicine at a very cheap cost. ठीक है. That is also because Indians itself, we cannot spend so much amount of money. Dolo itself is very costly as compared to paracetamol. ठीक है. So it is also because prevailing poverty in India, and it is also because tourists from foreign countries are coming to India for getting medically treated, and they can be easily treated with generic medicines also. There is absolutely no difference in the effect of medicine. ठीक है. So under the new regulations of NMC, it says that the doctor must prescribe a generic medicine, okay? And it should also educate the people. You consume the generic medicine, you will still be fine, okay? But the problem here is, in India, what if they do not get that medicine? For example, they went to a particular shop, okay? They asked for paracetamol, and instead of paracetamol, the pharmacist gave them any other medicine, okay? Any other medicine for fever only, okay? But the doctor has prescribed that medicine, okay? And it went to the pharmaceutical shop, and that medicine was not there. So now it is the onus of the pharmaceutical center owner, okay? Now the task of doctor is being carried out by the pharmaceutical owner. Do you think there is a risk involved here? It's a very big risk. It's a very big risk. So doctors have asked to NMC, you please clarify whether it is mandatory to follow this, or is it just recommendatory in its nature. Okay? So the major cons related to this is, if the medicine is not available at the, if paracetamol is usually available in most of the medical shops, if it is not there, they should close it down. But in general, if there is some exceptional medicine, okay, and it was not present in the pharmaceutical, I mean, at that shop, then it is the onus of the pharmaceutical owner, so that shop owner, to provide any medicine as a replacement, okay? Then comes the risk involved, okay? Now here, to clarify this, NMC says that if it is having a narrow therapeutical index, then you cannot do this. Narrow therapeutical index says that this medicine cannot be replaced by any other medicine. All the ingredients are mandatory, and the amount also is mandatory. You cannot make any changes. If it is a medicine of narrow therapeutical index, then you cannot prescribe generic medicine. In that case, you will have to prescribe the branded medicine only. Okay. The major pro associated is it will reduce the out-of-pocket expenditure. Okay. It will reduce the cost of health facility. Matlab, it will reduce the cost of medicine itself. Okay. Out-of-pocket expenditure, basically. Okay. Another regulation was regarding refusal, right? So here we have read this, that if the patient or the family members are abusive or violent, then the doctor may refuse. Okay. Additionally, doctor can also refuse if the patient is not able to pay the fees of whatever doctor has charged. Okay. But in that case, the patient must be informed before itself, you are consulting this doctor, this is the consultation charge. Okay. If it is informed, this must be informed. This is also one of the regulation to the patient, that it must be informed the consultation fees before the examination or the treatment. Okay. Also, you cannot refuse in case of medical emergency. Okay. Regulations regarding training, and this is important because here we are trying to de-link the medical sector with the pharmaceutical sector. Now, as of now, any of your relatives who is in the profession of doctor, so you would have seen they will get too many MR benefits. MR benefits is MR is basically a medical representative of a pharmaceutical company. Okay? So what MR will do, they will go to doctor, they will say, you please prescribe our company's medicine, and in return I'll give you a ticket to Thailand, or I'll give you a 1 TV, or they do get it. They do get it. Okay? So all this kind of activities is now completely prohibited. Completely prohibited. Doctors are not allowed to accept any kind of cash or kind from the pharmaceutical company, from the MR, or even from the directly from the company. No such gifts exchange can be made now. Okay. Okay. Now CPD is something which is a training process. Okay. Now in medical field also, so many things have come up new. Okay. The doctors might not be knowing about it, and for that we have a training program. Okay. This training program is known as Continuous Professional Development Training Program. Now, doctors, once they become a doctor, they earlier MCI, now NMC, will give them a certificate that you are now an eligible doctor, you can practice your profession now. Now, this profession itself will have a license of 5 years, and it must be renewed. ठीक है. Now this license of 5 years must be renewed by getting credit points, ठीक है. And in general, for a 5-year period, you're supposed to get 30 credit points. In general, that means 6 credit points. But a minimum of 3 in every year must be attained by the doctor. Only in that case, the person can continue with their profession. Okay? And not more than 50% of such training should be done online. So that means attending the class online is, all of us know. We will simply switch it on, and whether you are learning from that or not is not known. Right? So not more than 50% of this should be done online. Matlab, you need to attend the classes offline. The doctors must attend the classes offline. Okay. This is also applicable to professors of medical college who are right now in education sector also. They also need to take up CPD exams. Okay? And every degree, diploma, or recognized course are added to the unique ID. So you will, the doctor can now write, I am a CPD 1 certified, CPD 2 certified, matlab 5 years done, 10 years done, 20 years done. So they will have to write this. They can write this. Now to promote themselves, they can write it in their visiting cards. Okay? Okay. Such CPDs must not be sponsored by the pharma company. Otherwise, it will not be having any link, usage itself. For example, you are taking UPSC exam, okay? You yourself have a very close relative sitting in the examination hall himself or herself. So they will help you to clear the exam, right? Similarly, doctor and pharmaceutical company, if they, doctor who are supposed to take the exam and pharmaceutical company who is supposed to conduct the exam, if they are in link with each other, then there is no use of taking the CPD exam, right? So such CPD exam cannot be conducted by a pharma company. Understood? That there should be this delinkage. Understood? Okay. And the guidelines have also been issued to CPD Institute. A doctor himself cannot become a CPD professor. Okay? So there is a guideline related to CPD Institute. This should be running independently. The doctor should not take up any kind of classes or CPD classes. Okay? Otherwise, again the delinkage of them taking the exam will be going, right? So the guidelines has been issued for CPD Institute, and they are not allowed to take any kind of gift or cash from pharmaceutical industry or MRs. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Any query? Any query? No. Okay. Thank you so much, and all the best.